you asked for a sign, here it is. Uh-oh, you have to do it now. Or else that idea is going to jump to somebody else. And then what? You're going to be mad and say that you thought, well, I don't know if you're going to be mad. I don't know you. Hi. Do you like my Aquaphor mic? If I had any choice in any sponsorship, I think it would have to be Eucerin. I think it would have to be Aquaphor. Every time, from the first time that I've started using Aquaphor, when I got my first tattoo, I think it was 2019, I used it as aftercare. I've used it every single day since that day. When I wake up, my lips feel juicy because I slather them in Aquaphor at night. I have two within reach right now. This one's kind of empty, but I think it makes the perfect little mic. Anyways, I have some fruit with me right now. Blackberries and strawberries to be exact. And I just wanted to come out for a chat. I was feeling like I was in a bit of a rut yesterday. It was kind of one of those days where I felt like there's just so much going on in life. There's always a lot going on in life, but I was feeling overwhelmed by it yesterday, and it just felt like too much. I caught my mind, as it usually does, looping back to, okay, what should I do? What's the first thing on my priority list? Like, what do I have to do? And part of that was cleaning, and I was cleaning up a little bit and going through some of my older boxes under my bed. And I came across an old journal, and I just flipped to a random page, as I usually do when I find old journals, just to see. There's so many old journals that I have, and there's so many words and so many pages full of everything. It's kind of like a little game I play with myself whenever I come across an old journal. I flip to a random page, and usually there's something in there that my present self needs to hear. It was an entry that I wrote after a therapy session. It was talking about how I was navigating feelings that were feeling too big for me, and somatic healing, so breathing through them and naming where they feel in my body. My therapist asked me something like, not what is it that you're feeling, but every time you rush, what is the feeling that you're trying to run away from? Every time you feel the need to be somewhere else, what is the feeling that is asking to be felt? What feeling comes up every time you feel the need to speed up? And I just sat there for a little bit in the heat of speeding up. A big one was to slow down. Obviously, it didn't necessarily come in the form of a voice this time. It was more of a feeling of rest. I've been sick for the past couple of days, and I know it's not a coincidence that when I get sick, it is usually, if not always, when I'm caught up in getting tasks done and only being productive and not making time for things that I want to do or things that fulfill me and truly fuel me. You know, my energy levels were saying exhausted, but deep within me, when I thought about rest, it didn't feel like sleep is necessarily what I needed and what the voice or that feeling that I was running away from was asking for. It was more like restoration and recharging. I really just sat there staring into space and thinking about this for a little bit. How do I recharge in a way that is not just for my energy levels in terms of sleeping? I was just looking at my journal and thinking that I haven't really engaged in a lot of the creative projects that I've been wanting to get around to, and I haven't really been contributing at all to that side of myself. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do a coloring page. Even though coloring is not necessarily my passion, a fun little side thing that I picked up when it was getting a lot of hype on TikTok, and it didn't spark a sort of strong excitement in me when I thought about coloring, but I just wanted to do it as a practical way to jump back into being creative and crafty. It was the switch that my brain needed to lead to all of my other creative ideas. After I did the coloring page, naturally my mind felt like it was flooded with creative ideas that wouldn't have been there had I not put myself in that creative setting. I don't think it was coloring specifically. Being creative for the purpose of being creative and not for the purpose of productivity, I think that's what I needed to switch my brain to align with all the ideas that came flooding in really quickly afterward. But you know, when train conductors switch the tracks, it feels like I had a bit of tunnel vision for the past couple weeks about being productive and figuring my life out, and doing something practical and creative like coloring was what it took for my brain to switch tracks. I had to get my journal out and write all of my ideas before they left me. What is that book called? The Creative Act, A Way of Being, Rick Rubin. Haven't personally read that book yet. I'm pretty sure I've heard someone describe this in that book. What I'm getting at is, if you don't jump on a creative idea when it comes to you, it'll bounce to someone else. And then if they don't have the capacity or whatever to do it, then it will bounce to someone else until it finds a kind of vessel to execute it. So talking about creative ideas as not life forms, but living things that kind of bounce from person to person. Over the course of my entire life, I've had so many ideas that have not necessarily gone to waste, have come to me momentarily and have just left because I just didn't want to act on them. I don't want to do that anymore. I want these ideas to be mine. I want to bring them into fruition, you know what I mean? Fruition. I introduced you to my berries, I didn't even eat them. I think this is my motivational way of saying, if you're feeling like you need something and something's missing and your lust for life has not been so lusty lately, you've been losing it, maybe you just need to make something. And make something without the purpose of being productive or monetizing it. Like, make something to make something with the purpose purely being just to express your creativity. And it doesn't have to be good or bad. You're not allowed to judge it. Just do it and see what happens. Because, oh my gosh, it shifted me so fast. Me identifying as a creative person, you would think that I would turn to that naturally more often, but it is a muscle that, just like any other skill, that you need to nurture, and if you don't, it'll just get weaker. Also, I believe that everyone is inherently creative, even if you're not artsy necessarily. I think everybody has that capability in them, and the more you nurture it, the more distinct it gets. I think a lot of people think that creativity is inaccessible to them or it's not for them because they're just not artsy, when the truth is it's a tool that can be healing and so fun and fulfilling if you just let yourself do it freely. And I think that was the answer to my whole creative rut, is just letting myself create for the sake of creating, whether or not people are watching or think it's good or not, or whether people see it or not. I think it's important to just keep creating, especially as an artist, but also just as a person. I think life becomes more beautiful that way, not only because you are contributing to more beautiful things by creating and adding your art to the world, but because it nourishes your mind in a way that opens you up to new ideas, and not even just in an art sense, but you look at the world differently when you're part of creating something that isn't for profit or for, the eyes of others. It's just you see the mechanics of the world differently. I feel like you appreciate the world more. I'm just rambling and I think I'm talking myself in circles, but go be creative for the sake of it, in spite of it all. Even if it seems inconvenient, just making something, just doing something without using it as a means to an end to get somewhere or to achieve something. I think that, ironically, is where the real reward comes from, at least for me. I want to show you my coloring book. You never know what can come after you bring an idea to life. You never know what can come after a decision that you wouldn't normally make. I've thought about that a lot daily for as long as I can remember, but especially it's been more at the forefront of my mind recently because I rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you've watched that movie, you already know. If you haven't, go watch it. It's my favorite movie of all time, I think. One of my favorite. It's top 3 and it's not 3. But the whole concept of doing something improbable and it leading to improbable results. So taking risks and doing things you wouldn't normally do will probably lead to things that wouldn't normally happen. Ideas and bringing them to life. You never know where that could lead you, or maybe that could lead to another idea that does something else for you, and the butterfly effect. That whole thing. Let me show you my coloring pages now. I was inspired by the TikTok girlies who were coloring and just adding an excessive amount of detail to their pages that just gave it so much depth. This one's so cutie, 2 little guys on a hot air balloon. This guy's flying, and I added the little rain type texture in the background just with dots of marker. It's really fun to do. Also, I added some stitching to the hot air balloon that wasn't there before with some marker, and then of course the highlights with the gel pen. So fun. I love to look at it. This little mouse guy reading a book, and I actually added these as lights. I think they were intended to be garland, like just plants or flowers hanging from the wall, but I saw someone else do this. They turned these into lights and then kind of showed that by the reflection on the surfaces. Another one of my favorite details is the patches. So the hearts and the squares on the blanket were not there before. I added them with marker and then just some white gel pen to add the stitching. And then I added this little heart pattern just to give it more. And these little music notes I added around the radio to show that there's music playing. Also the texture of the wood. It's just so fun. This is the one that I did yesterday. Just a little rainy bear, and the highlights are by no means perfect, and a lot of them don't make sense if you look closely, like the depth. But overall, pretty good. And it doesn't need to be good. But the purpose is not judging your artwork. The purpose is just making it. Also want to add, as I'm eating my berries and watching this video play back, don't be afraid of not making something that's 100% original. Nothing is original. Ideas are all borrowed. The wheel has been reinvented how many times? At this point, there is no original idea, and everything is recycled, and everything contributes to everything. Everything is interconnected. I'm not going to go that far because this could be a whole different talk. But nobody has the sauce like you. Nobody has your flavor. Nobody's gonna do it the way that you do it. What's the worst that could happen? You don't like it? Oh, boo-hoo, you try something new and you don't like it. Oh no, now you know you don't like it. Go do it. Go do it. And you might make friends along the way. Like, make it the goal to gain a new experience. Not to make it good, just to experience. Just to have fun. You can't lose that way. It will benefit you regardless. It might help regulate your nervous system. It might give you the ability to think more creatively in your everyday life. I'm not gonna say might, it definitely will. If you're looking for a sign to start or a sign to do something, this is it. Uh-oh, you asked for a sign, here it is. Uh-oh, you have to do it now. Or else that idea is going to jump to somebody else. And then what? You're going to be mad and say that you thought, well, I don't know if you're going to be mad. I don't know you. This is a crazy tangent. It's going to jump to somebody else. And how sad is it going to be when they make it come to life and you're just watching your life go by? The time is going to pass anyways. Go make that thing. Make time to make that thing. Do it. Don't tell me you don't have time. Everything is choice. Opportunities dance to those on the dance floor. So go dance. Bye. Stop watching videos. Go do it. Bye.